Hello and welcome to the Command Zone's very own spaceship.
Scene 1D, take 2.
This is the biggest project we've ever undertaken. We've had the team working on it for almost 3 months now.
Full send!
Then there's one big rumble.
Whoa, take cover!
We're really excited with how it's all turning out.
Magic the Gathering.
3, 2, 1, action!
Set a course for the LGS system. I pointed too early. So when we heard that Magic was going into space for the first time with Edge of Eternities, everybody here immediately thought we have to do a really big video for this.
When I was in my apartment with Josh recording our podcast for the first time, audio only, we were like, you know what, someday?
We're building a spaceship.
Instead. Ever since we moved into our new studio space, we have been trying to figure out how do we actually use all of this warehouse that we have to create something that fits a big vision of ours.
I've been getting the question from a lot of different people when they see what we're doing, which is, why are you doing this? And I don't really have a good response other than that I've just kind of always been compelled to create. We sit around and we say, you know what would be cool? You know what would be funny? I want that to exist in the world. I don't want the conversation to just end right there. So it's always been part of me, and I think it's part of our philosophy here at the Command Zone, is like, that would be cool and that would be funny, and how do we actually do it?
This set was huge, man. It was taking weeks to build. We really wanted to get that 70s sci-fi look, and our production designer Natalie took inspiration from iconic sci-fi ships when building the set.
It must have been Star Trek that had this. It was so 60s looking, and I was like, God, I want to do that. This is really cool. It's so slow, it's kind of hilarious. So yesterday was a big day. We put up all these walls. I think we're in good shape.
So one of my favorite parts about this whole process is Jake and Natalie and John are kind of trying to figure out how the ceiling of the set will work.
Jake here and I had a kind of crazy idea. We're trying to figure out how to do the ceiling, and initially we were like, we just put fabric over the entire set. But spaceships are cooler than that. They need to have a shape.
And at one point, John is using actual Magic cards to kind of demonstrate how he thinks it should be built or put together.
We had the idea that instead we could just pulley systems it up to the ceiling. And we're just lifting them up at a 45-degree angle to create an angled ceiling. I'll either look like an idiot if it doesn't work, or I'll feel like a genius if it does.
Oh, look at that.
We got a hallway.
This is pretty cool. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you look at all over there, there's nothing there, there's no set. Our VFX guys, they're gonna digitally create the front of the ship. It's all about figuring out what they need to be able to track and make it look real.
The front of the spaceship was a discussion all the way in pre-production before we were even building the thing. Anytime that we see the front of the ship, it's full VFX, which made shooting this a lot easier. I don't know how we would have done that with a full set built.
Just because it gave us so much more room to work with the cameras and the equipment and all the crew.
When the set was finally finished and just seeing how cool it looked, pretty mind-blowing. It really felt like we were doing something here that I haven't been a part of quite yet. As an actor, it makes it so much easier to react, to be in the moment. When you're on that set, you look around, everything just feels like you're in a real sci-fi movie. Pretty cool. Pretty official. Beep boop, beep boop, beep boop. I am the captain now.
How's it looking?
Green. For the costumes for this project, we wanted all of our characters to kind of be references to popular sci-fi IP. So we have Josh as the Starfleet commander, we have Jimmy as a Jedi, Rachel as this really cool alien, and then of course Jamie as our robot.
When you work in Magic the Gathering YouTube, you never know what you're going to be asked to do.
I asked you if you wanted to do it.
And I thought about it for a long time.
Olivia is the mastermind behind our sad robot.
My inspiration for the costume was Becky's illustration, so I just tried to follow the details as best I could.
This is the general plan for Rachel's makeup. Originally, I was starting with the cap portion, and I was taking a lot of inspirations from like Twi'leks in Star Wars.
I don't know if when Rachel agreed to become the official host of the podcast, if she really thought that this is the position that she'd eventually be in.
Occasionally in this job, you get called on to do some stuff that's a little different.
By Nazan's hammer, I crack back at thee!
Hold.
Oh God.
You got it?
Got it. Gee.
And 3, 2, 1, blast!
Legolas the First Doctor.
So my language, my people's language, is made up of commander names, which we wanted it to be kind of like secretive in the beginning, where you weren't quite sure what was happening.
Doxasanimpakov, Solkanar.
And it got a little bit more blatant and silly as the short went on.
Zurgo Korvuld Dromak.
Hey, I'm Jamie Block. I'm a writer-producer here at the Command Zone. 12C, take 1! And on this project, I was also the guy in the robot costume.
Jamie's been killing it. He just comes up with all these funny like motions that aren't in the script or anything. So that's been one of my favorite parts, is just seeing him in the background. Like, it's great because you just get a lot of free laughs that way. No writer came up with the laughs. Well, he's a writer, but right now he's an actor.
Nobody cared who I was until I put on the mask. It was fun just coming up with weird physical things to do. But that was definitely one of my favorite parts, was just getting to be goofy kind of in the background and sometimes in the foreground.
Action!
We're gonna die! We're gonna die! I'm out of here! I didn't sign up for this!
Okay, and cue lights.
From the beginning, we knew that lighting for the ship was going to play a huge role in the production. We'd written a bunch of different lighting modes into the script to show different states of emergency throughout the thing, so we knew that every lighting mode looking distinct was going to be important to the film. There was a moment where the lights came up in the hallway, and I was watching it on the monitor, and both me and John Salmon just turned to each other afterwards and were like, that's awesome. This is amazing. That's really great.
Sick!
It just gave me chills watching it like all actually come together.
This happens every time I'm on set, where you're like, all right, I feel cool, I look cool, everything's cool, and then you look at what the camera sees, and you're like, wait, it is cool.
Hello, I'm Steve. Welcome to the away team spaceship.
We came up with the idea that at one point we could just pan over to a red shirt who was apparently there the whole time, but we'd never seen before, just as like a one-off joke.
And they turn and look at you, and you're standing here and you go,
Why is everybody looking at me?
3, 2, 1, go.
Fling!
Must pay additional cost.
Additional cost?
Sacrifice a creature.
Fling!
Please pay additional cost.
Additional cost? What's that?
Sacrifice a creature.
What?
And then you're gonna die later. As you fall, just try to generally right shoulder first. Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1, action!
I blinked again, yeah, sorry.
Can you tell me what character you're playing? I'm about to play Josh's stunt double. So it's gonna be one of those movie tropes where it's like, we get a bad stunt double, looks like we don't even put any effort into it. It'll be a fun joke.
3, 2, 1, go!
Really? 3 of my ships destroyed? Do you not see that you have 2 other opponents?
So originally the opponents were gonna show up on the screen, like on the Star Trek bridge, but then we thought, well, in Star Wars, people often show up as these little holograms, and that would give us a cool way to have a little more VFX and make it a little more interesting. It was also a way for us to utilize the holo table, which was another thing that morphed along the way, and eventually, it seems obvious now, but we didn't think of it at first, was the 4 playmat layout.
I didn't know what the holo table was gonna look like until I got on set, but wow, such a cool look, and of course set up to look like a 4-player Commander game.
The holotable was really complicated for a lot of reasons. It's in a bunch of different shots, and we had to figure out how the little hologram people related to their 30-foot tall counterparts and how the regular sized people relate to the tiny holograms. So we put marble figurines as our eyeline reference for the guys on set, and then on the other side of it, we had the holograms look at points on our ceiling for where Josh and Jimmy were gonna be. The people who are standing in it as holograms had to be shot at a different time. Kibler and Kyle were easy because they'd be after the shoot. But for Prof, it was in MagicCon Vegas the week before the shoot.
One of my favorite jokes in the whole thing is the fact that Prof is a Na'vi from Avatar, but it's not Avatar The Last Airbender, it's the wrong Avatar, but he still references waterbending.
Prof, what are we doing?
We're doing whatever Josh Lee Kwai tells me to do, and he said, Prof, don't ask questions, just put this on. And now we're walking around publicly in the convention hall. Anything for Josh. Anything for Josh.
I owe you.
Yeah.
You fools! Now I will show you the true way of water. What is it you young ones say? Ah, yes. Full send!
Karina! Evan!
Here at the Command Zone, we have recently instituted new company uniforms. It's for their safety. So we decided to have the entire Command Zone crew be the Stormtroopers that board the ship. They're merfolk. It's really fun to see everybody get in the costume here. Becky did a great job making the armor, and we're gonna have them fire tridents, and they have the little fin on the top of their helmet. They look great.
Sam caught himself in his own net.
Dude, they're actually pretty intense. Very Sam. Okay, raise your hand if you've died. So you haven't died? Karina, you died.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah. Well, what did you think I meant?
The Spider-Man idea came really late in the process, like one of the last days of pre-production before we had to shoot. The idea came to me and I was like, it's so late in the process, we have so much planned. There's really no way that Josh will want to change things this late in the game, but I was like, all right, I guess I'll pitch it anyway because I think it's a cool idea. And I kind of joke pitched this, but I've been thinking about it, and I think it's at least worth pitching. Instead of Mirror Battlesphere, what if it was Spider-Man?
The original thought up till now for weeks has been that the final card that gets played by Jimmy when he force pulls it to his hand is going to be Mirror Battlesphere, and we're going to have this little sphere like bounce down the hallway and then blow up really big. But I like the Spider-Man idea better because A, it's a joke. It turns a moment that's not funny into a moment that's funny, but also then we don't have to do a CG Mirror Battlesphere. We just have a person in a suit, which is also saves us some money. And if you can have two upsides like that, it seems like a good idea.
I wonder if we could just hire a birthday party Spider-Man.
It's not a bad idea.
I have friends who,
You have a friend who's a birthday party Spider-Man?
They don't live in LA anymore.
Dang it!
To be clear, we ended up hiring an actual stunt guy, but the fact that we were considering birthday party Spider-Man, that shows you how last minute and desperate we kind of were.
One of the things that's been really cool about working on stuff in the Command Zone is we have this philosophy that's like, when we have good ideas, we switch to them, we make it happen. I'm really glad how it turned out because I think it's really helped make the ending feel more fun.
3, 2, 1, action!
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man!
So you're telling me that little man was inside the card?
One C, take two.
The last shot of the shoot was going to be me hitting the door with the hammer because we were afraid that if I take this giant hammer and I hit the set with it, that the set would break and then it would be damaged in future scenes. But it's a very good thing that we did that because when I went to hit the blast door with the hammer broke.
Whoa!
Whoa! Which is not something that we planned for, but was very funny.
I hit it hard.
All right, that's a wrap, everybody! People think that like the filming, the production is the bulk of the work on something like this, but really post-production, there's still a ton to be done. It's where most of the hours are gonna be put in. The thing about editing on a project like this is there's a lot of things that are waiting on the edit before they can get started. And we wanna release the video in like 4 weeks to time it up with Edge of Eternities. So I have to lock the cut in like 7 days. So you have to choose shots for visual effects. That way they know which take they're working with. And you also have to figure out timing. How long is that shot gonna be on screen for? At what point in the shot does the shuttle need to enter frame? That kind of stuff.
As soon as the edit was done, me, Sam, Evan, and Gaurav took over the timeline. I'm gonna handle the color and the sound mix. The rest of the guys are gonna be working on the visual effects.
There's over 120 effect shots in the entire piece. And for reference, like the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie, the 2-hour-long movie had 700 effect shots. So we have 120 in our 10.5-minute thing.
The Star Wars scene where Luke is hanging upside down in The Empire Strikes Back and tries to get his lightsaber is like one of the most iconic Star Wars scenes. So being able to recreate that in our version with a magic card was really honestly a ton of fun.
The Force Pull shot was a really cool mix of practical and VFX work, because some of the card is fully animated, but a lot of that scene is completely done on set. I took double-sided tape and sandwiched 2 cards together with a fishing line in between, and we had 2 PAs hold that tight, and I'm hitting the card with the leaf blower, and then when we removed the fishing line in VFX later, it still kept that practical feeling, and the whole thing came together really well.
So the final big challenge of the entire project was we really wanted the ship to form the image of the Planeswalker symbol right as it warps away.
So getting the camera so that everything lined up and the ship was facing exactly where it needed to be was really challenging. It took a lot of tweaks to get the ship forming into the Planeswalker symbol exactly the way that we liked it, but we think it's perfect, and the way that it cuts into the sequence just feels like a mic drop.
One of the really important things for a piece like this is the music. We've worked with a composer named Zach Heidi in the past, and we've always had good experience with him.
So I'm juggling multiple roles on this project. On one hand, I have to make sure that the audience recognizes the game night theme when it comes up.
The game night theme sounds a little like this. Dum, 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 dum.
Last year, I started with Command Zone working on a single game night theme adaptation, trying to make it fit into their project. That turned into 2, that turned into 4, and next thing you know, we're now working on this big culminative piece, combining the game night theme in all these different ways for the space project. I also have to make sure that the game night theme is incorporated into the Star Wars and Star Trek sound, and I have to make sure that it's scored to picture, so when things are happening on screen, like action or suspense or sadness, that I can convey those things accurately. So it is a lot of work. One of my favorite moments in the score for this project was the Force theme, because we had to make sure it sounded like the Force theme, but it also sounded like Game Nights. And in that moment, you'll hear it's very prominent. You can hear the Game Nights theme, hopefully very loud and clear. But there's also lots of moments where I buried the Game Nights theme in. It's little Easter eggs. So if you listen carefully, you will hear it saturated throughout the score, and I'm really excited to see what people hear.
Use the Force. Force of will, use Force of will.
Oh! Kind of like that? That might be the best one yet. It's really important that everybody who works on something like this elevates it. They don't just get their hands on it and then hand it off at the same level. You hope that people grab it, and when they hand it to the next person down the line or the next piece of the puzzle, they've lifted it a little bit. I feel like our Command Zone people understand that philosophy and are very keyed into it, and they're very good at that, and I think everybody we've brought onto this project has really taken the germ of the idea that we give them and then added their own stuff to it and made it even better. It's the classic, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
I think with this project, we've sort of boldly gone where the Command Zone has never gone before. And honestly, with the best team we've ever had. And I'm so excited because we are set up to tackle anything that comes our way. And I can't wait to see what comes next. All right, thanks so much everyone for watching the behind the scenes of our short film extraordinaire.
Yeah, I don't know about you, Jimmy, but we've been doing this for over 10 years now, and I can pretty easily say this is my favorite project that we've ever done.
Not only my favorite, the biggest, the most ambitious, and the most fun. 4 straight days of shooting, pretty much, weeks of preparation, and I think it speaks for itself.
Yeah, I think it turned out great. Thanks everybody out there for watching it. Thanks for supporting it. One thing that didn't get talked about in this BTS video was all the references and Easter eggs that were jammed in there.
So, man, every single second has an Easter egg or a reference put in there.
Yeah, we were just constantly, can this be a reference? What can we put in the background? I think people have caught a lot of them. I was really surprised by the droid hitting its head on the door as a reference to the Stormtrooper hitting its head
accidentally
in A New Hope. I thought some people would get that, but a lot of people got that one. There's a lot of nerds out there.
Yeah.
I give mad respect.
Yeah. The Wilhelm scream, a lot of people caught on to as well.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Yeah, there's a lot of magic references and just traditional movie references.
But there are some references that nobody's caught yet. I'll call out one here, but I'll leave the rest, so upon rewatch, maybe you'll catch them. When you do the open the armory and the little panel opens up, and a lot of people got that there are Halo guns in there, but nobody's called out the fact that Sting and a couple of sonic screwdrivers are also included in that weapons cache.
If you look to the left of the part of it, you'll see them both there.
Yeah, and Sting's even glowing a little bit.
Yeah.
Another one, we'll move on in a second, but another reference that a few people did catch, and I was actually surprised. They're pinging us.
Sir, they're pinging us, the droid says.
Yeah.
And then in the background, you hear the computer go, hull integrity at 37 from 38.
Yeah,
because
because pinging in Magic, it means taking 1 damage. So yeah, it's a throwaway, but a few people did catch it. So again, mad respect out there.
And if you see anything else in the video when you rewatch it, put it in the comments. Maybe you'll be the first person to catch some of the other hidden Easter eggs that are in there.
Yeah, there's definitely a few that nobody's caught on to quite yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff.
Before we go, a big thanks once again to EDHREC, who supported this video, helped us produce it. And we've been saying this over and over, but it's totally a thing, which is like, it doesn't really make sense for us to make a video like this as far as the amount of resources put in versus like what we get back. Other than that, like, we were excited. We are filmmakers at heart. It was a love letter to Magic and space opera and all the rest of it. And EDHREC really supported that vision. And we're like, this sounds cool. We want to help you make it, even though they also have nothing really to gain from supporting it other than just, you know, helping it exist in the world. So I just really love EDHREC and the fact that they were, you know, willing to support something like this. And they do this in the community for other events and things as well. They support a lot of creators. So just, a lot of thank you to EDHREC for sure.
And they have a making of article on their website. We've linked in the show notes below. So if you want to dive even deeper into the process behind this video, you can read that. And of course, use EDHREC and support them.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to tell people to use EDHREC because it's like one of the most used tools for all command. I literally have a tab of EDHREC open 100% of the time on my computer. Like,
oh, me too.
Yeah.
It's by far the most, even more than like YouTube. I think I go to EDHREC more often than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome in many, many ways.
Yeah, and of course, like, the other sponsors for our channel are the reason that this is able to exist. So cardkingdom.com/command for your Magic card needs. If you're looking to pick up any of the Edge of Eternities stuff, maybe you were inspired by our flagship vessel, you might want to get some of your own, or of course, any of the other cards that have come out this year or in the future, pre-orders and all that good stuff. Cardkingdom.com/command. They have great inventory, great customer support, and you get all your cards in one convenient package right to your doorstep.
And of course, once you get those cards, you want to keep them protected. Ultra Pro is the game accessories company that Jimmy, myself, everybody here at the Command Zone, we use them all the time for everything. We're constantly traveling to events, and you know, you want to keep your deck safe when you're moving about. And all of their deck boxes, their sleeves, their playmats, they've got everything. They got the dice and they've got the wall scrolls. You know, if you want to make your battlefield look awesome and maybe your game room as well, but also protect all your game pieces, there's nothing better than ultrapro.com/command. And they also have all kinds of discounts all the time there.
All the time.
Yeah, we always say it, but they had one recently where I got in on it. So.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. And the other tab I have open all the time is ARCHIDEKT. ARCHIDEKT, ARCHIDEKT.com/command zone. If you want to check out our own page, all of the deck lists we've ever put basically on a show, you can find at that ARCHIDEKT link, as well as just using ARCHIDEKT yourself. We love the playtester. It's the best in the business, as the deck builder is as well. You can drag card images in. You can collaborate with someone while working on the same deck list. There's a lot of really fun stuff you can do with ARCHIDEKT.
The way you can flag all the categories of the cards when you're building your deck.
And sort it by those, by mana value, or by the category type, and add custom tiles for everything. Yeah, it's a really great service, and it has severely improved my deck building.
Yeah, I used to be like a paper old school deck builder and goldfish guy, and now if I don't have access to ARCHIDEKT, I almost like can't build a deck. It's like trying to do it with like your eyes closed or something.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's it. It's been fun.
You know what you have to do now,
with us
though.
on this journey.
Go rewatch the video.
Yeah, catch all those references.
Yeah, keep seeing if you can find them.
Tell your friends about it as well.
Please do. Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching.
Peace.
Bye-bye.